Hey Kentucky, this is Mary Jo Perino. Tonight, we'll bring you the latest efforts to provide relief for COVID-19 and part 2 of my interview with a Pulaski County native who's on the front lines of fighting it. Plus, Coach Cal updates the BBN. All that and more is next on Hey Kentucky. Welcome to Hey Kentucky alongside LEX 18 Sports Director Keith Farmer, who has been busy today.
Yes.
Finally, it feels good, doesn't it?
Feels good to get in a little extra work, a little more than just Hey Kentucky.
Yes, yeah. Not that this is chump change, right?
Not at all. I'm loving my time here for sure.
We love having you. All right, let's get started with the guy everybody loves, Governor Beshear. He continues to provide updates on efforts to fight the spread of the coronavirus. In one of his latest, the governor announced a new hotline for people to report businesses or people who aren't following the orders for social distancing or other business practices. That number is 833-KY-SAFER. Beshear also said he wants to make drive-through testing a reality here in the state, but there's a roadblock: the protective equipment needed for healthcare workers to administer the tests. That's hard to find. And in order to get that, Kentucky has to bid against other states and the federal government.
But I am willing to pay whatever it takes to protect the people of Kentucky to the maximum extent that we can. At the moment, folks, and some will take this the wrong way, I'm not concerned about money. I'm concerned about lives, and we're going to do everything we can to protect them.
Keith, I was a little shocked when I heard this yesterday because I didn't realize that every state was bidding against each other to get this stuff.
It sounds like one giant auction, and I'm seeing the governor has a paddle ready to keep bidding, and he sounds like he's going to be a high bidder, and that's great, but I hate that we do have to fight against the other states. You would think this would be something that would be spread out once it's available to every state.
Yeah, and Kentucky doesn't have the extra money that some states probably do.
Correct,
and are, at its disposal. So.
And then we have some of the older generation that needs this help.
Yep. All right. Governor Beshear is also announcing that additional security will soon be seen at our hospitals, including the Kentucky National Guard. Security measures will be ramping up at hospitals around the Bluegrass in the coming days. These measures reportedly include local and state police agencies. Beshear says additional security is being put in place in order to help deal with any potential surge in COVID-19 cases. He added that the inclusion of the National Guard in this effort is not to enforce any curfew or other regulation put in place during the pandemic response. Keith, it's just to simply be an extra set of helping hands, but probably necessary.
Probably necessary because if this does become larger and you've got more people going into these hospitals, you want to make sure it's the people that do need to be treated, not the people that are going in to check on loved ones, things like that, and just kind of keep order around a place that's going to need a lot of attention.
Yes, absolutely. And you can't take healthcare workers out of their space.
Correct.
To do that because they're so needed where they are right now.
Yeah, and they only have so many security guards at a time, so yes,
exactly.
A little extra help from the National Guard would help.
All right, we've talked about the effect of the coronavirus on major employers in Kentucky. Now the illness has cropped up at one of the key links in our supply chain. An Amazon warehouse in Bullitt County has shut down for cleaning after workers there tested positive. The local health department said the employees are residents of other counties, and contact tracing was being conducted. The department also says it is working with Amazon on social distancing measures, and the company says it has consulted with medical experts and health authorities and taken a number of actions over the past few weeks. Keith, it's just hard to imagine it's not going to crop up in these kind of places where people are working in close quarters and sometimes have to.
Right, and much like, Toyota shut down. I mean, there were so many people when I lived in Louisville that drove from Louisville down to Georgetown to work at Toyota, and so now you see a place like Amazon that had several counties, and now all of a sudden you see just one thing happening in one building spreading to many other areas in Kentucky. We see how this thing is spreading.
And it's wild that people can actually trace it. And the epidemiologists.
Yeah, not me. I'm not one of those.
No,
that starts getting into math and all sorts of. No, I'm not doing that.
I don't remember who I saw yesterday. Well, yeah, I saw you and my family yesterday, but
that was it.
In a normal time. All right. Efforts to help the state recover during the COVID-19 crisis continue. Governor Beshear has announced the Team Kentucky Fund, which is designed to provide assistance to Kentuckians who have been laid off or severely financially impacted by the pandemic. Donations are tax deductible and can be made online. A Lexington restaurant is transforming into a relief center for restaurant workers who have been laid off or had reduction in hours or pay. The Lee Initiative, short for Let's Empower Employment, is expanding its reach to Lexington and will set up in Great Bagel and Bakery on Boston Road come Thursday. And people have been pitching in to help truck drivers who pass through multiple locations in the area, and depending on where they stop, food options may be limited or completely unavailable. And Keith, I do want to give a shout out also to Rex Chapman, who put up a video on Twitter last night and is giving all donations to COVID-19 relief as well.
I think it's just great to see all these different ways that people are giving back and people are helping each other like the restaurants are. It's a refreshing in a time that we've had in the last several years to know that everybody's coming together and trying to help out the other person. I love what the state is doing and giving you a chance to find a place to donate money to help those in need.
Yeah. All right, turning to UK basketball, something we desperately need. Coach Cal checked in today for the first time since we heard from him about the cancellation of the NCAA tournament. Cal addressed the media via Zoom online conferencing. He believes players should have more time to decide whether to stay in the NBA draft or to return to school. Cal is calling for the NBA to push back the early entry eligibility withdrawal deadline, which is currently June 15th, if they postpone the combine and draft as expected.
My worry is for guys, okay, let's just talk they're working out right now. If they spend 2 months and don't do anything and then try to go work out for an NBA team, it ain't going to work for them. So there are no gyms, there are no health clubs. Unless they have a gym in their house, none of them do.
Keith, as you mentioned, though, every player is in the same predicament right now, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Nobody can go into any gyms unless you have a home gym, which Cal said his players don't. He knew that right off the bat. He says they don't have a place to work out, so he's telling them, get outside, run, sit inside, do push-ups, sit-ups, and after you do go outside and you do that run, he said go inside, change, clean up, wash, throw those clothes in the wash, and stay healthy.
I think because of the number of NBA players that have tested positive, the NBA is probably going to take some sort of action. I would hope, because of all the professional sports, that's the ones we've heard of the most.
Correct, and I think everything's going to get pushed back. Like you said, I think we're going to see either a draft postponed or pushed back much further than we're used to. It's going to make it interesting to see what these guys decide on going or staying in college.
Or all done via FaceTime or something like
yes,
that.
that too.
Crazy. All right, college hoops fans spent the weekend reminiscing rather than rooting for their favorite team in the NCAA tournament as the networks re-aired old games. But the pain of the 92 Kentucky Duke championship game was something new for some parts of the Big Blue Nation. Parents of kids around the Bluegrass posted clips on social media showing their little heartbroken fans after the Christian Laettner shot. Meanwhile, the reaction from sports media on Twitter didn't make things any easier to swallow. Many pundits once again calling out Rick Pitino, then UK's coach, for failing to have a player guard the inbound pass, something Pitino had done at other points of the game. And I know they also showed the 2008 championship game, so Cal had to relive losing that one to Kansas on a three-point shot.
It was funny because I called my son down. He's 15. I was like, you got to watch the end of this game. This is one of the great games in college basketball. He saw about 2 minutes of it, and then the president came on, and he didn't get to watch the rest of it. Also, you don't have to tell Coach Pitino about this because he still to this day brings up, I wish I'd put somebody on the inbounds.
Of course.
He does.
Of course. Well, we all do.
Yes.
All right. Up next on Hey Kentucky, part 2 of my conversation with a Pulaski County native who is an expert in microbiology and immunology. We'll hear more from her on the coronavirus outbreak. Stay with us.